Hi, it's Elise, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a photo album revamp project that I undertook as a partnership with Kolo. And if you're not familiar, Kolo is a photo album company that is based out of Connecticut. And I first met Kolo products when I was working at a retail store, and we sold a ton of Kolo albums, basically their whole line. And I loved them. I mean, I thought they were super high quality, sold really well, always looked good, had a wide range of availability and different things for different projects or events. And so I was really, I love the brand. And when I decided to pick an album for my 2011 kind of documentation project, I ended up going with a Kolo album, and I've been really pleased with it. So I was super excited when I heard or was invited to team up with Kolo and undertake a much larger project and use their products for it and then share my experience. And so what I ended up doing was working with Kolo to take old photos that actually belonged to my parents. They had 4 decades of photos, everything from when they were little to my dad took a trip in Europe before my parents were married to their life before my brother and I were born through now. So forever. And they had just thousands and thousands of photos. And these pictures were stored in old kind of disintegrating albums or boxes or bags, and they were tucked into a cabinet up above on the upstairs floor. It was dusty and dirty and disorganized and falling apart and kind of a tragedy. And so my mom was really excited when I told her I would go through and redo those albums and take all the pictures out and load them into something much cleaner and more organized and matching. And yes, it was good news. And so what I ended up using were Kolo Hudson albums, and these are the 3-up. So they're pretty thick. They are 50 pages with 3 slots per page. So the albums end up holding 300 pictures. So one of the first things that I did was just really assess what we had. So took all the albums out, took a look at what we were working with. And you might remember from the days of film, you couldn't take a look in the viewfinder or the post viewfinder and see what you were dealing with. So if you were going for like a Christmas card or something that had to be a perfect picture, you ended up taking a roll of 36 images, hoping for one good one. And my parents saved all those. So a lot of what I was dealing with in the beginning was just kind of weeding out. So taking some of the not perfect shots out of 20 and getting rid of those. Once I started narrowing down, then I started going through the albums and just transferring them one at a time into the new album. And I was as careful as possible to keep things safe and archival. Of course, the albums that they were going into are super archival and guaranteed to not destroy your pictures, but the albums they were coming from were pretty dusty and bad and not great. The photos held up a lot better than I would have expected, but I'm so glad that I got them now into something that not only is going to look a lot better and look better on the shelves, but actually will be safe and the photos aren't going to disintegrate along with the albums. So that was really good. So now I'm super excited with how the books look, and they're 4x6. The slots are 4x6, so you have room for 4x6 pictures. A lot of pictures from a couple years ago or 10 years ago are smaller. I think the standard size was 3.5 by 5, which is frustrating, but they fit. They still got in there. And then I also had a lot of old photos that were 4 inches, like 4 inches squared. And so for those, I just kind of doubled them up. School pictures, doubled them up. I just fit it however they seem to fit. And the point for me was just to get it in there, just to get it into something that my parents are going to want to look through. My brother and I, when we come home and we bring our families, are going to want to look through. And something that my parents can display proudly as, look at our family, as opposed to what they were, which was just kind of a disaster zone. So I'm really glad I was able to take on this project. I'm so grateful that Kolo helped me with the awesome albums, and I know that my parents, specifically my mom, are going to be so thrilled to see the results. So it was awesome, and I'm happy to answer any questions or help you get started, talk more about kind of how I eliminated whatever you might want to know. But thank you, as always, for listening.